it's not just a city of Grand Rapids thing. It's right now we're in the midst of, a body of work around trying to tackle racism and inequities. It requires an all-hands-on-deck approach. And so there is not one single entity that should be expected to be the primary problem solver.
Yeah.
We need more organizations, we need more hands, we need more resources, because you're talking about, when I talk about the root causes, dude, you're talking about, some things that have been, inequities that have been in place for centuries. Dude, you don't just get rid of those in a month or two.
Right.
Or even 10 freaking years. You can make your way toward progress, but we're at a point now where it's okay for us to be, it's like we need to have this regular, we need to be given permission on a regular basis that it's okay to be intentional, it's okay to be unapologetic, it's okay to be just over the top in our efforts to try to get at something that is continuing to put out really significantly bad outcomes. Mm-hmm. And that's what's in play right now with what's happening in the urban core of Grand Rapids, in particular with African Americans and Latinx, is, we're trying to do the same thing and we're getting the same results. It requires some sort of, for lack of a better term, shock therapy, something that is so different, right, that it kind of turns this thing upside down and people begin to do things differently. And I want to make mention of something you just said earlier about the police. You couldn't have said it better, and City Manager Washington hit the nail on the head. They are being asked to do things that they weren't trained to do, bro. Mm-hmm. Much like a teacher, right? Teacher is expected to be a social worker, a teacher, a child care provider.
Pseudo-parent,
a psychiatrist, right? Yeah. Right? Dude, you can't do that. They went to school to learn how to, the art of teaching, right? A police officer expected to be a therapist, a social worker, security, a psychiatrist, a psychologist,
first aid responder,
all that stuff, man. Yeah. And it's too much. It's too much, and they're being asked to do too much. And so, part of my thinking has been, and will continue to be, how can we make their work easier to where they won't be so stressed, right? Yeah. Let's see if we can find ways to put some of that work into the hands of those who went to school for social work, for around drugs and alcohol, around violence? What do you call it? Domestic violence, right? All those things that the police have to respond to, and as we all know, the police 9 times out of 10, when we're interacting with the police, it's at our very worst. Yeah. Right, and so usually things don't turn out well.
Yeah, but that brings up a good point, because I think, we look to government, especially around these complicated things, to solve our problems. But at the same point, the government should be about your 5th step towards solving the problem.
I agree.
The Full Exposure Podcast is brought to you by Metro Health, University of Michigan Health, and Dr. Peter Hahn, in appreciation of the creative and artistic visionaries who enrich our lives through cultural connections.